Hello and welcome to Rose Ed, and the transfer window is now slammed shut and left the Premier League with a somewhat different complexion. As Everton help themselves to a world-class midfielder, the only problem is he'll be in the dugout at Goodison Park. While on the pitch, Dele Alli and Donny van der Beek arrive to bolster Super Frank's disjointed squad. Meanwhile, in a move akin to that scene in The Godfather, Antonio Conte does some spring cleaning at Spurs, Aubameyang heads for the exit at Arsenal, and Burnley purchased the biggest Dutchman I've seen since that one fateful night I spent in Rotterdam. And Jan, if you're listening, I still miss you. Anyway, welcome to Rose Ed. Here as always with Hannah East. Right, Hannah?
I am, thanks. Are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Nice one.
Good, thank you. Mike, how's it going?
Great.
Yeah?
I just thought I'd match Hannah's energy there.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah.
Nice
yeah,
one.
You know,
Nice one, love. Yeah, right.
Decent,
nice.
You had a good week, Hannah?
I have a good, I've had.
Have a good week.
I've
have a good week. Nice.
That was very nice. I don't have anything exciting to report though. I've just been like parenting and working. Put my house on the market, which I'm
Exciting.
telling everybody about. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I have to report.
Good. You
Boring without football.
bricked up the sex dungeon, or?
Yeah, we're going to have to because I think we might get arrested if anyone sees that.
Mike, you've been on a sex holiday, haven't you?
Yes, went on a sex couple swingers retreat.
How was it?
In Suffolk. That was amazing. We met this great couple called Mary and Jim, and we had a great time. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. If you got any further questions about that,
Just like how was it? What did you get up to?
yeah.
What things did you
Not
do?
necessarily sexual.
It was not. Let me just state, because I know Joe will put this out as a clip. Let me just state, it was not a couple's
He's already cut the
sex
first thing he
swingers
said,
retreat.
so-
In my head, I was getting it, yeah.
No, we went to Cambridge for a few nights. We had a lovely couples. Well, I had a massage, and my girlfriend had a treatment, which I'm not going to say the name of because Joe will take it to mean something completely
What
different.
is it?
It sounds worse now. It's facial, but yeah,
Well, did you pay for the room? Because if so, fair enough.
it was two females, so probably not the facial you were thinking of.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, I got a Swedish massage by a lovely lady called what was her name? Lily, I think. A lovely Russian lady. She was about like 6 foot,
Lie on the bed.
blonde.
Lie on the bed, Mr. Stavro.
No, it wasn't.
Fucking
Take
screaming.
your clothes off.
It wasn't. It wasn't quite like that. She was quite. She was good looking. She was a good looking girl. So
Was she?
I really enjoyed that. And at one point, so she said at the beginning, like, what sort of pressure would you like? And I was like, oh, I've not had many, so just go easy on me, sort of thing. And 2 seconds in, she's using her elbow, digging into my back, and then at one point she like bent down and whispered in my ear. She was like, "Is this pressure good for you, Mr. Stavro?" And I was like, bit flabbergasted. I was like, I hope the missus don't hear that.
Was that nice though? Like the hot breath on your ear? I can imagine that being really
Yeah.
nice.
Especially after a garlic supper. But that was lush.
Nice.
Yeah, I had a great time. We saw the sights in Cambridge, like all
Bet
the
you did.
uni buildings.
Yeah.
Did you go punting?
No, I've been punting before and I almost fell in, so I decided not to do it this time. Dived in.
But you did the thing that Joe recommended on the podcast a few weeks ago, didn't you? About ringing up in advance and saying you want an upgrade.
No, he didn't recommend
No,
that.
he was talking
was
about it, and
you
I said I do
recommended
that.
it and you did it for a restaurant.
I do it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he
you
does it
two
for
were
us.
like,
Yeah.
it's a
So
win-win situation.
yeah, I mean it works. So everyone, like, ring up the hotel like a day before and just say you can have an upgrade, and they're probably going to say yes.
You got it.
Well, in between our records, you were on the phone to someone, weren't you? Pre-ordering some stuff. You going to a Michelin-star restaurant?
This is so embarrassing because I genuinely, like, I did really well at school at A-level English as well, but I can't speak. So I thought, I'm going tonight to a Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, it's not Michelin.
But like I said, you can spell and you can write, but you just
I
can't
just
say
can't
any of the
speak.
words.
I just
Michelin,
can't
yeah.
speak. So yeah, tonight I'm going to a Michelin star restaurant near where I live. But we were supposed to be going with a friend and his girlfriend, but she dumped him. So we're now going with another guy. So
Jesus.
yeah.
Is
bless him.
he still coming?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there's me and 3 lads.
Yeah.
Gonna go to a Michelin star restaurant tonight and have the wine.
And get some tyres fitted to that Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin. I had a Thai massage on Friday.
Oh,
So
okay.
you weren't the only one getting massaged.
Oh.
And when I first walked in, the woman on reception, as soon as I walked in, started laughing. Like straight away, she's like, ha, 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 and like pointing at me. I was like,
Oh, gee.
oh, this is weird.
You were like, she's listened to the pod.
Yeah, it's like, I've got a bloody fan. No wonder we're award nominated. But started pointing and laughing at me. And I was like, this is a bit strange. But then she was smiling and chatting. I couldn't really understand what she was saying, but she seemed really friendly. So I was like, okay, she's maybe laughing about something nice, just like taking a shine to me. So I was like, okay, I'm here for the deep tissue massage. She's like, okay, you're in the room at the end. I was like, oh, can I use the bathroom, please? So, okay, went to the loo, had a little wee. Then as I was washing my hands, I'll admit, I hadn't locked the door. So then the door opens and it's a masseuse, who turns out to be my masseuse, who was like, oh, I'm so sorry, and like ran off squealing. And then all the other women come out of the rooms and started laughing. And the woman on reception comes running out from behind the desk and went, she tried to peek at you. Like that. I was like, this is already a bit weird.
Yeah.
So then I went in the little room. The woman came in and was like, oh, so you think you're at home, do you? Don't bother locking the door. And I was like, oh, sorry, I forgot to. She's like, right, lie face down and take everything off apart from your pants. Like, all right. Anyway, so then I was like lying down. I'd asked for the deep tissue. I didn't want a Thai massage. Because remember when I had one before in Slovenia, she punched me in the back and pulled my ears. So I didn't like it. I didn't want that again. So I was like, oh, deep tissue massage. Yes. She didn't speak very good English, this woman. First thing that happened, she gets onto the bed, puts her knees on my hamstrings, so she's kneeling on my hamstrings, and falls forwards with both elbows into my back. I was like, oof!
A wrestling move.
And then she started laughing. And like every time I went, oof, she started laughing and she was like, I like it when the clients scream. No pain, no gain. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was honestly, the stuff she was doing was so painful. Ooh. There was a bit where she got on the bed and she's like, lie on your side. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she walked along my inner thigh. Walked along. So she had her hands on the ceiling and she was walking up and down my inner thigh.
How big is this lady?
She was quite little, but it hurt so much. I felt like the muscles.
I've got a vision of like a gremlin.
Yeah.
She was a bit like a little gremlin. Like she was very nice, but she was sort of an evil spirit. And then she kept screaming, no pain, no gain, and then laughing. And then she was like, have you got life insurance? And I was like, why? And she was like, because your family are about to be very rich. I'm going to burn you. And then walks out of the room. It was also, and I was like, ugh. And then she comes back in and I was like about to look up. She was like, don't look. I was like, oh, okay. And then suddenly like I felt this incredible heat on my back. So what I found out later was it was those hot stones. But I've never had them before, but she was rubbing up and down your back and she was like, shut up, it doesn't hurt my hands, how can it hurt your back? And I was like, sorry.
This is like abusive.
It was really weird. It was the longest hour of my life.
This is like one of them things, you know, like some guys like to be shamed.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It felt like that sort of thing. You know, some guys will like pay for it for a girl to like tell them they're a piece of shit and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's what you signed up for.
I like to be pampered. And also I'd said deep tissue, she just ignored it. She did whatever she liked.
That doesn't sound very relaxing either. Did it help at least?
I was in so much pain the day after. Like, because
you paid for that.
I was like, why are you doing this? And she was just screamed, circulation. I was like, oh, okay. Cost me £50.
Is it a 50 quid for that?
So there you go.
Jeez,
wow. It's just an opportunity for them to just abuse someone, it sounds like.
It was really fun and it's given me some good content, but I wouldn't go back.
No.
Well, I was at a spa on Friday.
Of course. Why?
We're all at spas. What's going on?
I was jealous because you two keep going to spas and doing fun things. So I took one of my best mates for her birthday. We were sat having a meal and she said to me in the morning, like, are you gonna take your mobile phone with you? And I was like, no, do you know what? I'm gonna leave it in my bag because I get so distracted with my phone all the time. I was like, I'll leave it. So if the teachers ring that my kids are ill or whatever, they can just ring my husband. So we were chatting away.
They're just gonna get on with it.
Literally, whatever. It's all about me right now. So we were just chatting away and she was like, oh, I don't know what time it is. So we were talking straight for 6 hours, and
it's like you and Nicole talking.
Chocolate and coffee. And I was telling her this story that a guy I used to go out with had these really tattoos on his arms, like awful tattoos. And we went on holiday to Egypt once, and he was like, oh, I need to get some new clothes. So we went to the shop, and I was getting like polo jumpers for him, and he was like, it's 40-degree heat, like I'm gonna be really hot. And I was like, yeah, no, but I think you should wear the polo jumper. Just cover yourself up. And I was like joking to her about it. And she's like, how can we split up with him? And I was like, do you remember that time when I went to Egypt? And then the colour just like drained from her face. And I was like, are you all right? And she went, you have to edit my swear. And she was like, oh. And I was like, what's wrong? She was like, I've forgotten to pick Arthur up from school. She'd forgotten to pick
because you've been chatting for so
school.
long.
Yeah. So she literally... And I said to her, I was like, Helen, are you going to get a shower? And I turned around, she was like literally dressed and tried to leave. But she's so bad with directions. She left the change room. She's like, all right, see you later, and ran off to go and get her son, trying to ring the school to be like, you know, keep him behind or somebody look after him. And she came back in 2 minutes later and she said, Hannah, did we come down some stairs to get in? And I was like, no, she'd been upstairs knocking on the doors of the treatment room trying to find the exit, probably seeing like a gremlin on top of somebody somewhere. And then another 10 minutes later she came back in again and she couldn't find her way out. And by this point I'm completely naked in the changing room, like I couldn't stop laughing. So that was my spa experience.
Hannah voice noted me. She was like, oh, my friend forgot to pick up her kid from school. She was laughing so much she couldn't speak. I was like, well, did he get picked up? Like,
yeah,
missed that bit.
You haven't told us what happened. What time was this? Like, what time did she realise? Like,
so
6 o'clock?
No, midnight. It was midnight and they finished school at 3. No, I booked us like half a spa day, but her little boy's like at this nursery school, so she needed to get him for like 2, and this was 2:05 and I'm sat there telling her about my ex-boyfriend in Egypt in 40-degree heat in a polo jumper.
Okay, so she would have been about half an hour late.
About an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right. That's
back.
quite bad. Can I ask you guys a question? Because this is something I was talking to my girlfriend about. But you know, like when you go to spas and just general change rooms, does it not weird you out when people in the change rooms just like drop their towels and everything's hanging out, or is it just normal to you?
See, I think it's good practice because you do need to be naked to put your pants on, or whatever. I think it's good practice to turn your back. So you do it with your back to the room.
Yeah.
Like you don't not just like, there you go, lads, kind of thing. But I remember at my old gym, so Nuffield in Wandsworth, it was very bad for this, right? And it's always the old boys. But they'd just be like, oh, how are you? I haven't seen you in spin class for a while, drying their penis in front of you. And it's like...
so casual.
But in my head, I'm just thinking penis. So obviously I'm going to look at your penis.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, or you know those guys who dry everything and get dressed with everything before they put their pants on. So literally there was this one guy who'd put his foot up on the side, hairdryer in his then like flossing it, then shirt on, like tie, cufflinks, socks, and then put his
Oh, that's weird. See that they're doing that on purpose. Like I went to go get to my locker and this guy was standing there in front. Instead of moving out of the way, he just stood there while he was still getting dressed. I had to like lean over him. As I was leaning over him, he drops his towel. And so he's bare is like basically like in my face. I was just thinking, mate, like you are doing this on purpose. But like, do you know what I mean? I feel like some people do it on purpose. They do it on purpose, like just to make you feel uncomfortable.
Massive.
It's not even like this guy had a shrimp down there.
It's normally small, and I'd say 60 plus.
Yeah,
generally speaking,
it's a certain generation because like my generation, like if I went to like the toilet to get changed, I don't want to like show everything to like 60-plus-year-old guys. It's just weird.
And also, like if me and my friends are getting changed, it's like we will obviously have to put our pants on, but we'll turn our back. I won't do it. So anyway, I said to him, "What? There it is. There's a little corporal." As it hits the changing room floor. No, it doesn't.
I'm glad we cleared that up. So thanks.
I don't think there's any need to do.
Yeah, probably turn slightly. But I think when you've had a couple of kids, you're not really that bothered anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're just...
Because your body's changed and like so much.
Yeah,
and
but
then
you're still not like flossing, are you?
Yeah.
You still try and keep a level of privacy.
But yeah, probably you'd maybe turn slightly rather than face in.
Hannah's just not agreeing with us then.
Rather than lying on your
Hannah's
back like
just getting a kit off.
Get the ages to dry.
Get the Dyson air wrap on it. No.
Get your curlers. Well, I don't think there's any need to do things that make you go.
No, because you're only doing it once in the show.
Yeah, so that's
There's no need to do it this week because we've just done it.
Yeah,
I think that was it. Should we talk about what's happened in the transfer window?
I think we should.
Aubameyang's gone to Barcelona. Dele Alli's gone to Everton. Christian Eriksen's gone to Brentford. Wout Weghorst has gone to Burnley. Julian Alvarez gone to Man City. Rodrigo Bentancur and Dejan Kulusevski to Spurs from Juve. Matt Targett from Villa to Newcastle. Donny van der Beek to Everton. And Manny Richards, who I must admit I don't know who that is, from Arsenal to Leicester. And Dan Burn has gone Brighton to Newcastle. Should we start with Everton, Mike? They've won just one of their past 14 Premier League matches, 16th in the table, 4 points above the relegation zone, and Frank Lampard's their new manager. Is it going to work out?
I think Frank Lampard has got something in him where he likes going to jobs that are extremely difficult and probably outside of his current level right now. That might sound harsh, but Everton are currently a mess. Like we've spoken about our previous podcast, the amount recruitment that's gone wrong there. The amount of money they've pumped in, given to managers that have left like suddenly. He's got a big bloated squad there with a lot of players who cost a lot of money, and it's going to be a tough job. So I don't really know. I think I look at Lampard and I look at his like managerial career in like a few stages. I think he did really well at Derby. I think he was showing what he was about. And then Chelsea, I look at it with a different lens. I think he did well with the squad that he had in the first season to get them top four.
Yeah.
But when it was called upon him to go to that high level and, you know, deal with these 50 million, 60, 70 million pound players like Havertz and Werner, he couldn't quite do it. So taking a slight step down to Everton, I think would be a good move. But I would have hoped for him, and I think he would have hoped that the club that he would manage next would be in a bit more of a settled situation, because he was being linked to Norwich. That would have been worse, I think, because they're destined to go down. And he was I think he was linked with Newcastle as well at one point. That is also another big project.
Was, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like he's going to do a decent job, but people just can't judge him too harshly. Like if he's not got Everton back up into like the top 10 within like this, probably not this season, but next season, I feel like it will be a slow burn of him.
But there are actually some good players at Everton. But what's weird is they've done this thing that they always do, where you look at them and you go, okay, maybe they need centre halves or whatever, or maybe they need fullbacks or whatever it might be. Maybe they need another striker, and they bought 2 attacking midfielders or 2 central midfielders again. And I think Van der Beek, I think give him a run in the team, I think he'd be great. I think Dele Alli may be a little bit less pressure than being at Spurs and Spurs fans on his case. But I mean, I think they've bought well, but I'm not sure if they've bought what they need, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think they're due a few wingers. I think that's what they need in their side. I think Van der Beek and Ali will be all right, but these are players that have not really been playing football much.
Yeah.
So
both players probably have a point to prove, don't they? Because they kind of need to come into fruition. I think Van der Beek definitely, and Ali has got a point to prove because he's been out off form for years, hasn't he?
Didn't he cost 40 million?
So it's 10 million rising to 40 depending on appearances, but it'll end up being 40.
That's insane. This is a player who's not played football for like 2-3 years.
I don't think there's anybody in the Premier League whose value has kind of undulated more than Dele Alli. Because maybe 3 years ago, you'd go, someone might buy him for 60, 70 because he was in such good form. And now it's like, you're right, I don't think he's worth much more than 15.
No.
But he's still a good player. I've always said this about Dele Alli. He's so hard to work out because he plays between the lines. He has a free role. And that player, if they're not playing well, looks like a passenger. And it looks like you're down to 10 men. And I don't think he's consistently good enough to play that role. But I think he might do well at Everton, to be fair. And he gave a really nice message to the Spurs fans.
But he's not going to be like Lampard's Mason Mount, because he's not at that level, I don't think.
And he's such a different player.
He's not going to defend. He's not going to be versatile where he can play on the wing or play at number 10 or play at number 8 or even number 6. He's very much, as you say, like a specified player. Yeah. So I think Lampard is going to have to work with him to get the best out of him. But whether it will actually happen, I'm not sure. Like I was convinced by Dele Alli when he came through because I thought he was a bit of an enigma, but he's not really stepped on and gone to that level where he should be right now. And
I've always looked at him and thought, particularly for Conte, that's not a player you particularly want, someone who you don't know where their consistency is. He would rather have a player who's less technically gifted, but is guaranteed to work harder, I think, which is kind of what he's done getting Bentancur in. But Hannah, Donny van der Beek's gone to Everton. Do you think it's going to resurge his career, if that's a word?
Well, I think it'd be a good opportunity for him to get game time and show people what we've bought, because he hasn't really had the opportunity, I don't feel, at United. So I think from his perspective, it's good. Everton, it's going to go one way or the other. But as we were saying about Dele Alli, I think if anyone's going to bring him into good form, I think it would be Frank Lampard. Like when Dele Alli this season of like 15, 16, 17, he was smashing the goals in. And obviously you look back, Frank Lampard was very similar in their performances. So I think they could become a really good partnership. But yeah, Everton's just a funny one. I was just surprised at Frank Lampard.
Well, I'm glad you said that, actually, Hannah, because Dele Alli said about Frank Lampard, I feel like it's a perfect match. I can't wait to get going. Being an attacking midfielder, obviously he scored a lot of goals as a midfielder. I'll speak to him a lot about that and what he did as a player to make the most of his talent. And I suppose for him, it's probably that, apart from him and Gerrard in the league, you're thinking, if there's 2 managers I want to play for specifically for selfish reasons, it would be them, right?
Yeah.
They've also signed this guy, Mikalenko, Ukrainian left back, to replace Luka Digne. Do you think Everton are going to stay up, Mike?
Yeah, I think they'll stay up just based on the fact that the other teams around them are not good enough, and I think they'll go down, like the Norwiches and Watfords. Like they will be a shoe-in to go down, I think. And it's really tough for me to pick the third team because Burnley have got about 100 games to play in hand. So God knows where they'll be like in a few weeks if they can even get those games made up. But I think they've got enough players, and especially bringing in players like Donny van der Beek, who's obviously a quality player. Like 2 years ago, he was playing in the Champions League semi-finals 3 years ago. So he's obviously got that ability within him. It's just whether Lampard can bring it out.
You mentioned Burnley. Sorry, Burnley have signed Wout Weghorst. Wout Weghorst from Wolfsburg, who is 6'6". He's Dutch. He scored a lot of goals. It's basically a like-for-like Chris Wood replacement, except he's like 3 inches taller than Chris Wood. That doesn't really feel like enough to keep them up.
I don't know. I've seen Weghorst play a few times.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy, but he's quite technically gifted as well. You'd be surprised. Yeah, he's got a bit of technique about him.
This Dutch.
Yeah.
Well, no, Dutch is a bit like this, isn't it? He talks a bit like that. Oh yes, I'm going to kick the ball in the net for you, Mr. Deutsch. No. Sorry.
I don't know why I went to German. Maybe because he's come from Germany.
And his name's Wout Weghorst.
Yeah, it sounds German, doesn't it?
Mr. Dash, where do you want it? Do you want me to put it in the top corner? I bet you do, dirty boy.
But Burnley can't go down. They can't go down.
No, that would be so sad, wouldn't it?
Savage. And like you say, like literally, this is a genuine question. How many games in hand have they got?
About 5, I think.
I mean, they're all going to be injured soon. This is going to be an issue.
They've got a small squad as it is, but they need Big Wout to start producing, don't they?
Big Wout.
They do. He's going to have to turn the team around.
Wout, let it all out. There we go. We'll workshop it. Spurs missed out on Luis Diaz. Liverpool got him. He's considered to be the best player in Portugal. Scored the most goals, got the most touches in the opposition box. Second most possessions won in the attacking third. Third most dribbles completed. Fourth most final third passes completed. Is this guy the long-term replacement for Sadio Mane?
Yeah, it feels like it. I've seen him play in the Champions League a few times this season. He's unbelievable.
He's quality, isn't he?
He's really, really good. I'm surprised that other teams weren't in for him, really. But Liverpool, they just got these savvy signings up their sleeves, don't they? It was Diogo Jota last season. That came out of nowhere. This one sort of come out of nowhere a little bit as well. Their recruitment is just on point. They know exactly what they need, and they go and get it. And I feel like, he will be the sort of long-term replacement for Mane.
I think their big issue, though, is obviously because Jota's going to be the Firmino replacement. Firmino's still a good player, obviously. And Diaz is the Mane replacement. Your problem is replacing Salah. And a player like that is irreplaceable.
He's irreplaceable because there's no other player like him. Yeah. I think a winger like that scores the amount of goals that he does is so hard, so hard to find, so rare to find. But it's just amazing to me how Liverpool just keep pulling it out of the bag every time, whether it's Alisson, Van Dijk. Like, they're signing players that are the best, probably one of the best in their position in the world. Yeah. And it's like they're just doing it like it's nothing sort of thing. Like, they're planning a move that's like maybe Mane won't leave this summer, but maybe next summer or the summer after. They're planning moves like 3 years down the line. You look at clubs like Man United, Arsenal,
any other club.
It just seems like panic.
But doesn't it seem like most other clubs in the Premier League, other than City, I feel like the foundations are just all over the place. And like Liverpool have got that solid infrastructure, and they're being proactive at looking at players, like you say, that 2-3 seasons down the line, but they're getting the players in, and players want to go to Liverpool for that reason. They've got the consistency there. And it's the classic Fergie thing as well. It's buy when you're strong. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I like this guy in this position, but maybe we get somebody else who can play Nani or Cristiano Ronaldo to replace David Beckham or whatever it might be. Yeah. Instead of being like where Spurs and Arsenal and United are now and going, oh God, we really need a left winger, don't we? Or we need a right back. It's like, let's sign a striker.
Why did no one do let's sign him when he's still in his development stage and he's not the final product yet, because he'll probably be worth like 100 million in a few seasons, but they've got him for less than that.
We did talk. No, hang on. Let's talk about Arsenal. Here's a clip from Rosehead Time Added On where we spoke to Arsenal fan and TV presenter Nicole Holliday all about Arsenal and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Okay, so a couple of months ago when things were really quite bad, and we were in a pretty poor place, you can't tell me that you were like, yeah, guys, everything's going to be great. I see the vision, I see the plan, whatever Arteta's thing is. Like, obviously you fall into a place of feeling a bit negative and a bit. I can swear on this, can't I?
Yeah.
Beep it out. I never get to really swear on stuff. I always
Swear
have to be quite
away.
PG.
Just do about 5 or 6.
And then you'll start being like, it's like, stop it now.
Oh, that's exciting. But, you know, if your club is being a bit...
Say it again.
One more time. But obviously you feel quite negative. You're still a supporter. You still love the club through thick and thin, obviously. But if you're in a really rough patch, you are frustrated. Yeah. Right, naturally.
But hang on, you still haven't scored in the Premier League in January, have you? And it's now February.
Yeah.
More red cards than goals in January. So you said it's bad a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
When was the good bit?
Okay, no, but I would argue... No, but when you look at that, obviously that sounds bad. But when you look at the game, so I was at Emirates for Arsenal Man City, and we played very well, especially against Manchester City. Like
against the best team in the world.
Yeah, that was one of those games where you watch and you go, "Oh, we were unlucky there." And when you see your team actually put in a good shift and do well and work really hard,
and then get cheesed by officials,
then you go, you know what? Frustrating, but fair play. And as a fan, you can appreciate that and get behind that.
Exactly.
So I think there's been a few games. I think last month, January, is a bit of a weird one because statistically, I guess it doesn't look great for Arsenal.
Here we go. See,
but...
she's polishing a turd. She's learning.
No, but it's been, but performance-wise, definitely been better. I'm just going to punch the sofa than it had been previously.
So you feel positive about the vision moving forward for Arsenal, do you? Where do you sit at the moment with the current team and the current setup?
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it, after the January transfer window and Aubameyang and everything. Because even with that, I don't even know entirely how I feel about Aubameyang going. I think I definitely am feeling more positive than I have done for a while. Yeah. And there are things that you can see as an Arsenal fan that you can get behind, even if it's the youngsters, Emile Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. You know, you're seeing something here that you can go, oh, that is quite exciting. But obviously, if we're not going to win anything now, no silverware this season.
Do you think Arsenal finish in the top 4?
Well, this is the thing, though. This is what you've got to hope for. And if not, then it's been a really, really bad season.
You didn't answer my question. Do you think they will? I'm pushing you here.
You know what? Let me try and be positive. You know, say it, speak it into existence.
Yeah,
that's what
positive visualization.
The important people say, like Oprah Winfrey, I think.
She's coming on the show next week, actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great.
Yeah,
great.
She's a big Brentford fan.
I heard that you couldn't get her this week, so that's why I got the call up.
Yeah, I had to bump her to next week.
We booked you in first, and we're like, listen, Oprah. You're going to have to fit around us.
I'm trying to avoid the question. You know what? Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I think Arsenal can do it if we don't pick up too many injuries now.
There we go.
You've only got 2 strikers now, so you've got Lacazette and you've got Eddie and Nketiah.
Yeah.
But so the Aubameyang thing, right? Do you feel like he was a little bit disingenuous? Because obviously I'm a Tottenham fan, but I'm like, more importantly, I feel like I'm a football fan. And he's like, oh yeah, we had ups and downs together. I didn't get to say a proper goodbye. It's like, yeah, but it's your fault. Because you were breaching disciplinary code and not being in the team. So it's not like the club stitched you up. No. And I feel like he's trying to spin it to make it look like the club kind of forced him out, and that's really not what happened.
No, I think it's just one of those things where, especially footballers nowadays, what is it as well? Side note, with this whole thing of them coming out, if they get a red card, if they miss a penalty, and being like, guys, I'm so sorry, and posting these like apology statements on social media, stuff like that is weird. But we live in this weird world now of social media. Things are very different, and that's just PR, isn't it? That's literally just his media, his people being like, right, you've got to put out quite a nice statement and be quite positive, and you're not gonna
brand you need to look
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to, and I'm not saying that's Aubameyang personally. That's just generally footballers now in the public eye. You want to come across quite well. They won't say what they think when they leave clubs, when they go elsewhere. Like, they're not going to... Imagine them actually posting something and being like, you know what? This is what happened. And I actually think a lot... Because he is probably quite angry as well, I'd imagine, at some of the fan base and how it's all panned out. But you're not going to come out and say stuff like that, are you?
He was the club's biggest earner, and he breached the disciplinary code twice. Once when he was captain, he should be holding himself to a higher level of accountability.
There was a few times as well, like there was when he was late for the North London derby. And then there was pictures of him like driving through Muswell Hill, like when the game's about to start.
So what sort of example
it's just mad. So like there's a few occasions it gets to that stage where it's like Arteta's come in and he said from the beginning he wants like a certain level of discipline from his players. Obviously, if the captain doesn't live up to that, what standard does that set? So I think it's probably the best thing to happen, even though we are losing a big striker who was a big player for us, scored a lot of important goals in the past. Sometimes you have to move on, and it's just a real shame that they didn't sign these strikers in January, because I actually, even though I was going on about being positive, I just don't think they can finish in the top four without bringing in signings, because I just think you got two strikers, Lacazette and Nketiah, who probably aren't going to be there next season. So like, what is their proper motivation to play and like earn that number one striking spot? I just don't think it's really there. So I don't know. I don't see where the goals are going to come from. So I just don't think it will happen.
But you do have the likes of Saka, Smith Rowe. You do have other players who can contribute.
But they're young though, aren't they? That's the thing, and they're going to be inconsistent. That's the whole gamble with the Project Youth, is that you're going to get players that turn up and are amazing one week, but they don't have that, you know, that high level to be able to produce it week in, week out. So that's my worry. But I still think it's exciting going forward. I still think that we've got the right people there. I think Arteta's the right man for this current project right now, and I think the young players are exciting. So it's going in the right direction. I just wish they sort of took a bit more of a gamble in January, pumped a bit more money in, and just said, look, you've got a good chance now with Spurs being inconsistent, especially Man United obviously being inconsistent. There's a good chance to finish top four, and you have to grab it. But
that last top four spot it's a real toss-up, isn't it? Spurs, West Ham, United, Arsenal. Yeah. God knows the way Wolves are going. Who knows who's going to be in that? So, but I mean, with Arsenal, this is part of the rebuild. It's going to save you £15 million a year in wages. Do you feel like with Arteta, and is it the process he calls it? Is it the process? Which sounds like a cult. But like, is it? Do you kind of buy into that? And he's like, look, we're still rebuilding, and maybe next season will be a different team, because there's been quite a lot of deadwood and part like the old guard that he's had to move on.
Yeah, and I think that's actually one positive, is that there were so many players that did need to move on, like you said, and leave the club, and that's happened. But with the Aubameyang situation, so I think that's the main concern. I think a lot of fans would probably agree that there didn't really seem like there was a way to come back from this situation. He hadn't played in months, stripped of the captaincy, like setting a bad example. You know, I think Arteta kind of did what he had to do. I'd love to know more about what really happened. Because
there's an Amazon documentary, but how much is going to be in it?
It's going to be glorious.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Is there what is it? The same one?
All nothing. Right? It's exactly what you have.
Arsenal,
Arsenal, the best club you can do it for.
There's been so much drama as well this season. It's going to be unbelievable.
It's going to be so good to watch.
Can't wait to see it.
Or will it be awful? I don't know. But I think...
Lots of Granit Xhaka walking off the pitch.
But that's the thing. I think it got to a point where Aubameyang probably had to leave, really. It didn't really seem like there was a way for this situation to be resolved. But I guess the worry is a lack of players now. And if we pick up any injuries, and then, the teams around when we are desperate for top four. I think at first I wasn't completely on the Arteta train, I suppose. I was like, I don't know if I do see this vision. Like, I'm not sure if I'm completely behind it. But I kind of get it now. And I actually have more respect for him with the Aubameyang situation, because it shows that he thinks, you know what, no one is bigger than this club.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, if you're not turning up on time, if your behaviour is not correct, then you're not going to play.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that sets a good example to the other players. God, it's going to be an interesting couple of months, isn't it?
There we go, Nicole Holliday there. That was good, wasn't it?
It was good. She's lovely.
She's
you like
brilliant.
her, Mike, don't you?
Do you like it, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a legend. As I was saying in the pod, go listen to it, but she's a bit of like a celebrity in the Arsenal sphere. So, yeah.
Yeah? Look at his face. Look at his face.
We had to make sure that Mike kept his clothes on for that section.
It was so it's a very good interview, though. It's not just about Arsenal. It's lots of funny, mad stuff as well. I think Newcastle might have won the transfer window. They were the biggest spenders. They bought Bruno Guimaraes, Chris Wood, Kieran Trippier, Dan Burn and Matt Targett arrived on loan. That feels like enough to stay up, mate.
Yeah, it should be. I'd hope so. Spend all that money, you'd want some return on your investment. It was funny because, just to go back to Arsenal for a second, in his announcement video, there's a little dig at Arsenal. So there was like in Bruno Guimaraes. Guimaraes.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that right?
That's good.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, I'll say it wrong.
Yeah, what's that, Hannah?
In a Yorkshire accent.
Bruno Guimaraes, who's
Bruno
that?
G. Bruno
What
G.
you on about, love?
Didn't he do my patio?
Oh, God.
Didn't pay him.
What was I talking about? Dig at Arsenal,
Yes.
yeah. So there was like newspaper clippings of like Arsenal saying like, are Arsenal interested in Bruno G? Arteta really wants Bruno G, so it's just another one taking a pop at Arsenal.
Didn't you sign some American kid, Austin something or other?
Yeah, we signed some guy called Trusty, I think. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name.
It's not Austin, it's Austin, isn't it?
I don't know. I'd never heard of him before deadline day, but I know that he plays for the team Colorado Rapids, and I think they've got something to do with the Kroenke franchise. So make that could be completely wrong, but I know they own Colorado Avalanche, which is like another team, American sport team. Rubbish.
Why would you call your team Avalanche after a natural disaster? That doesn't feel very tasteful.
They're as cold as ice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
quite
so
good,
bad.
actually.
That's actually good.
Thanks.
Yeah. We're both just like, wow. But Newcastle have made loads of signings, and I spent the most in the transfer window. They probably will have enough, won't they?
But they have to with their signings, like they're actually decent players or players that have come from like good stock. So you'd like to think that, they've kind of revamped their team, invested a lot of money. I mean, what's their striker situation? They've got
just Chris Wood, isn't it? Callum Wilson's
Wood.
still injured.
Chris Wood, yeah, Wilson,
Yeah.
Big Joe Linton's still there as well.
But they've been playing him centre mid,
Yeah.
which I'm guessing they're going to stop doing now that Guimaraes is there.
Yeah, and also Dan Burn as well, the 6'7" wonder.
Yeah, him and
Is
Van
that
Veekel could be friends.
Man Mountain. That was a bit of a weird move as well, because I didn't really think that was on the cards. I thought they would have gone for maybe like James Tarkowski or something.
He's only 13 million as well, which feels like quite a good price for him. He's done well at Brighton.
Yeah, and he seems like a decent player, but I think Graham Potter makes a lot of players look good in his Brighton team because they're so well organised. So we'll have to see what he's like in a team managed by Eddie Howe. You're
a little bit disappointed not to see United do more in the transfer window, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of feel when I was on my way here today, I was like, I feel a bit anxious to even talk about Man United, given obviously everything that's going on in the news. But obviously Martial's gone. The ongoing situation with Greenwood, obviously he's out. So I think that's obviously the reason why Jesse Lingard is now staying at Man United. So
and he's out of contract in the summer, Lingard, isn't he? Because he moved then.
Yeah, so I hope that something comes of his performances for the rest of this season. I mean, the January transfer window is always a bit awkward, isn't it? So there's never any huge expectations, but I would have liked to have seen something happen a bit more interesting or something good.
Is there a part of you that feels sorry for Jesse Lingard? Because it's like you saw how well he smashed it last year at West Ham.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
He was.
Like he looked like a top class player. And then he went back to United, played a few games off the bench, didn't he? And then just not played at all. And then he doesn't get the move that he wants.
And it just goes to show you that if you go to a team where you've got the right leadership, you've got the right setup with the team, you've got, like, Jesse Lingard is obviously an unbelievably talented player. And if he's with the right team, he's going to perform well. But it's negativity breeds negativity. And I think that's where we're at with United at the moment. I'm worried about the rest of this season for United.
I've always thought it's weird that he doesn't get more game time, because the biggest problem that United seem to have is that midfield can be very slow. When it's McTominay and Fred, or Fred and Matic, or whoever it might be. That's such an immobile, negative midfield. Now, I know that Lingard is traditionally a more advanced player, but he can do that, maybe that box-to-box role, and he's got tons of energy, and that's one of his big qualities. I always thought he's a natural fit in that midfield. And I don't know, I feel like maybe he's going to get a little bit more game time and try and win himself a contract.
Yeah, I really hope so, because I really like Jesse Lingard as a player. We've had quite a lot of rotation in the team, which for a team that doesn't have the attributes, the players aren't as good and consistent, that's not a great move for us, because if obviously Man City, they have so much rotation. You never know from one week to the next who Pep's going to choose, but he's got such good stock in his team that he can afford to do that. We can't at United, and it's cost us points this season, unfortunately. And obviously with the manager and everything, everything's up in the air, and I think there's just a lot of negativity within the team. So I hope Jesse Lingard doesn't feel like pushed out and disappointed by this, because this could be a really good opportunity for him to shine again and let Man United fans see his talent.
I can't really call it this top 4 race. It's going to be Spurs, United, West Ham, or Arsenal, probably, maybe an outside chance of Wolves. I feel quite good about Tottenham now.
Yeah.
Only because Conte, it feels like Conte's team a lot more, in the sense that Gil, or Hill, however you want to say it, Gil, and Ndombele and Lo Celso are all gone. So he shipped all of them out, and it felt like he's culled the players that he didn't rate, and also the people that might have been a negative influence on the dressing room, like Tanguy and Ndombele. And he's got a couple of players from Juve in, using that Fabio Paratici connection. So Paratici signed both Kulusevski and Bentancur for Juve. So it kind of feels like it's more a team in his image. And what I understand about Kulusevski, he can kind of play anywhere across the front. Yeah. He's just a versatile attacking player. Hasn't really had a chance at Juventus, but was very, very good when he was at Atalanta. And Bentancur's played 18 times for Juve this season, and he's a hard-working box-to-box midfielder. And I mean, that's pretty much the opposite of what Tanguy and Ndombele did. So I feel like I'm not saying we're in like a pole position, but before I was thinking we won't get 4th.
Yeah.
And now I kind of think we are right in that mix.
Yeah.
With everyone. What did you think of Spurs transfer window, Mike? Jealous?
Yeah, I mean, Kulusevski was a player that I was wanting Arsenal to sign, to be honest, because I've seen him a few times. He's a really exciting player. As you say, he can play left wing, right wing. He's played centre forward sometimes, like attacking mid. He's really exciting to watch. And if you think of it, like Spurs, I'm not convinced about their sort of backup wingers. I think Steven Bergwijn can score 2 late winners at Leicester, but then he can have 3 really bad games.
Or 3 really bad months.
Yeah, or 3 really bad runs. And then Lucas Moura as well. I think he's just the most unpredictable player, which is good in the sense that defenders don't know what to do, but I don't think he knows what he wants to do when he gets the ball sometimes. So I think bringing in someone like that who can challenge for them positions, and then Bentancur, I've always felt that Spurs were light in midfield. They've got Højbjerg, but they need someone who's a bit more, who can advance the ball a bit better and dribble the ball. So I think it's really good business, and I'm speaking sense, so I'm a bit worried now. So yeah, I in terms of that top 4 position, I think if Conte can settle things down, because I feel like before the window happened, there was sort of shades of like, was he making a point with some of the teams he was putting out? And when you start doing that, it's like you worry a little bit. And then there was, well, I don't worry, but you worry a bit. There was reports of like, if he doesn't get any players in, is he going to walk and stuff like that? You never want that when he's only been there for a few months. So if he can get that to settle down and get some victories on the board, I think Spurs will be the most confident. But in this sort of, highly competitive league, you saw Arsenal drew against Burnley. Teams at the bottom can throw up anything at any time, so it's going to be close. And it's literally impossible to call at this stage.
Well, it feels like a start. It feels like he's got rid of the players he doesn't like, and he's got a couple that he does. So but I guess he's going to be wanting some probably bigger signings in the summer. Yeah, because he's Antonio Conte. He's got a finite career, and he's probably thinking, well, I'm the guy who wins trophies, so you've got to give me a decent chance to do that next season. No AFCON corner this week, so we're waiting on the outcome of the semi-finals. But next week, we will know the results of the tournaments. We'll do a little look back over the whole tournament, which I think would be rather nice. It's time for any other business, Hannah.
Oh, I don't have any other business.
No, I've got some.
Okay, you've got some.
No, I know.
Just get Mike's code.
Just get Mike's code.
How do we get on your fantasy league? I don't know.
Who's winning actually at the moment on the fantasy league? Is it Mike's?
I'm gonna guarantee Mike's winning.
Did we not have like a 50 quid bet or something?
No, we didn't have a
I seem to remember.
It was a bet of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh, was
you
there?
were giving it large,
yeah.
Oh God, was I showing off in front of a crowd?
Yeah, I think you were.
You're insane at it.
Way ahead, yeah.
Where are you ranked in the country?
I was like 5,000th in the world at one point, but I think I've dropped off quite a bit recently because all the postponements and stuff.
Because I beat you, didn't I?
You did, before?
Yeah.
The final week before the break.
Your one victory or second victory.
I think I've only second. Yeah. 2 out the whole week.
Well, there was a good article in the Mirror this week
Okay.
About a man.
Are you going to say that I start putting objects around me and stuff? Because last time you were talking about a cucumber and then you were really laughing about it. So just
not around you. So an East Lothian rugby player got a tattoo of his local cafe owner's face in order to get free Iron Brew pies for life, right? So Nettie's Cafe in Edinburgh is well known for its unusual array and distinctive pies. And this guy got a tattoo of the cafe owner's face in order to get free Iron Brew pies for life.
I mean, these pies must be good, but what if the shop goes bust?
Oh, yeah.
Then it's like such a waste.
You would need something like contractual, wouldn't you? That you still have to pay me X amount of that's worth Iron Brew.
100% a legal agreement for this.
But I wanted to ask, right, what food stuff would you get tattooed on your body in order to get a free supply for life?
Oh, ask Mike first.
Okay, Mike, what tattoo?
Well, I mean, if the tattoos can be like any size and go anywhere, or does it have to be visible? Because if it doesn't have to be visible, I'll just get like all my favourite food. Surely.
So you've got to have it on your bum.
Got to have my bum.
A girl that I went to school with, when we were about 15, she got a tattoo and it said your name on it. So she used to go to bars and stuff, and she got to groups of lads and be like, if I haven't got your name tattooed on my you've got to buy me a drink. So yeah, she used to get drinks and stuff.
So that means that about the hundreds of men have seen
yeah, just whip her it says your name on it, you got to get me some shots.
Is it really worth it?
Yeah, and then
you just want to pay 99p for a Jägermeister or something?
Yeah, for some apple sours.
But then also, if you're like, not to be too graphic, if you're having with her and you're approaching from the rear, then that might make me laugh. Like, it would like put me off.
Yeah,
like,
it's not the most pleasant sight,
and you don't want to laugh during sex, do you? Like, that really spoils the moment. So I don't know, ask her.
Yeah, I mean, surely you'd have to explain it beforehand and be like, yeah, I've got a tattoo on my bum and this is the reason why.
And it says your name on it.
I mean, also you could say that she could say, oh,
exit only.
I've got your name on my. Yeah. That's probably a pickup. Oh, if she needs.
But I feel that the person it was, the type of guy she would have got with, would have been quite happy with that.
What you could do, and I'm going to cut this out, but she could have got my face on there, so you could be like kind of on your face, and then she'd be like, I'm going to cut that out.
Send that to 90 Min.
Yeah.
Why have they not put it on the socials?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But yeah, Mike, is there any like food stuff you would do you like quite like that? Sorry.
I'm trying to think, is there any like food that looks like aesthetically pleasing? Because you don't want to get like a donut on your arm, do you?
If it's on your bum, you could get a donut. It's perfect. Or you could get like a hot dog like going towards it.
Oh, that is disgusting.
I rediscovered this week. My girlfriend reintroduced me to
beep 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 beep. That's my girlfriend. Beep beep beep.
That's all the female listeners lost. It's really not. To pot noodles.
Yeah.
I haven't had a pot noodle for years, and she turned up. She'd been at a festival and she brought a king size chicken and mushroom pot noodle home.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to have one, it'd be that's a green one, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah. But she's northern as well, so she had it for dinner last night. And
tea.
Yes, it's tea. So dinner is lunch, isn't it, for them?
Breakfast, dinner and tea. For them?
Yeah, for your lot.
Breakfast, dinner and tea.
Which is so wrong, by the way, but anyway.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to have for tea? Yeah, that's so weird. It's like, do you want to have dinner? It's like, no, it's only 12 o'clock.
When you're at school and they're like, what time is it? 12 o'clock?
Lunchtime.
Dinner time?
No, lunchtime.
No.
It's lunchtime. Yeah, it's lunchtime. And then you have dinner. Dinner is in the evening.
Tea time.
No.
I feel like we've had this conversation before, but it's important to stress that we are right about this.
Yeah, of course we are.
It can't be tea. Like, tea is a beverage. How can that be dinner?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Ask all my friends.
God, here we go.
I wonder what they'd say.
That's our fan base, to be fair. But she says what she does is she puts it in a sandwich. So you put the chicken and mushroom pot noodle in between two slices of bread and butter and eat that.
In a sarnie.
In a sarnie. But like would you eat that?
Well, I wouldn't, because I'm vegan and it's got like trace of chicken. But
it doesn't.
I used to.
She told me it doesn't. So apparently it doesn't actually have any real chicken in it. It's just chicken flavouring. because her friend is also.
How do they make the chicken flavouring though?
It's just like put various chemicals together.
No. Oh, okay.
No, it's not chicken juice.
Grind the bones and make the powder.
But her friend is veggie and was delighted because he can still eat it because chicken and mushroom pot noodles have no chicken in.
That just shows the quality of the sauce there, doesn't it, of a pot noodle. But that's a great... Would you, in bread or bread bun?
Bread. So
slices of bread. People call them cobs, don't they, in Derby? A cob is a bread bun.
Oh, it's a barm cake, isn't it?
Barm,
it's just a bun.
What is?
A bread bun.
What is?
Like a bread bun.
There's a bun. Yeah, I know what a bun is, but does it mean something different to you?
No, because people where I live call it a cob. Unless they can have a
That's
cob.
a
bread bun. Isn't it just bun? Or did you just specify it's bread?
It's a bread bun. Just in case people didn't know. Sorry, Joe. I feel like we've really derailed off this thing about somebody getting a tattoo on the face.
Well, just one more thing. There's something that really caught my eye this week. So there was, this feels like a proper radio show, doesn't it? There's a story in the Metro about a girl who's called IKEA. Yeah. And she's changed her name legally because everyone at school nicknamed her Flat Pack.
Oh, that's so mean.
Oh, why did her parents call it IKEA?
Because apparently her mum saw an advert and thought it was a nice name.
Advertising for furniture.
What was your nickname at school?
Crab catcher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, because my maiden name's Creelman.
Because you had a loyalty card.
Creel baskets catch crabs. So, yeah, I used to be called Crab Catcher.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Did that stick?
Yeah, did it ever come to fruition, the crab catcher name?
What, as in, do they ever have crabs?
Yeah.
I've never had crabs.
Okay.
There you go. So, and that's
breaking news.
So to everyone at school.
That's on record. Do you have a nickname, Mike?
I don't think so. I don't think my
Big dick.
Something that's really annoying me is that so only like my mum and my dad and like my immediate family call me Michael, but everyone knows me as Mike.
Oh,
and then Michael. And now my girlfriend started calling me Michael, and it's really off. She used to do
That's
it
because you must piss her off if she's giving you your full name.
No, but she's doing it because my family call me that. So when she's in front of my family, she calls me Michael. But now it's stuck, and it's like that's not me. Like that's not the person you met. I feel like Michael and Mike are very. Yeah, this is a very deep conversation, but I feel like Michael and Mike are very different people.
I feel like since your massage, you've kind of become a bit more assertive.
Different man, isn't
it? Yeah. I know. I'm gonna put my foot down.
Yeah,
sort it out.
I think bloody Dwayne Johnson in the studio. It's too much. Mine was just poo face. Because I came in from playing football one afternoon into chemistry, and I had mud on my face, and my friend Bully said poo face, and that
my friend Bully said poo.
That was 20 years ago, and my friends still call me poo face or poo.
Do they?
So there you go.
Oh, that's.
I've got a friend called Rat.
He's Bully. His nickname was Rat Face.
No way. No way. Yeah, so we've got a friend called Rat. There's no particular reason. He's just a bit like ratty in behaviour. You know, someone's like a bit of a snake, bit of a rat. Like not terrible, like awful, but once I was in the car with his mum and I accidentally called him Rat, and she just sort of like turned around in horror, like, "Have you called my son?"
Yeah,
like, that's the look she gave me. But yeah, it's just everyone knows him as that. Like even my family, when I talk about my friend, like his name's Chris, but we call him Rat. It's his name.
There you go. Shout out to Rat.
Yeah, shout out to Rat. Yeah.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
There you go. Right, don't forget you can get in touch with us, Rosed Pod on Instagram and on TikTok, Rosed Soccer on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube. Also, just go on 90 Min's channels, any of their channels. Our content is across there. And please do vote for us in the Sports Podcast Awards. Just go on sportspodcastawards.com and vote for us in the comedy category. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mike.
Cheers.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.